Wes here with US 105, and I got some great news to share with you here at us105fm.com. We just got back from the Harris Community Center in Belton, and today was the day that the City Council was going to look at and consider the idea of renaming the Heritage Park Baseball Complex. That's right. Many of you will remember the story that we posted about Jace Jefferson and the idea to rename the baseball complex in his memory. Well, we stopped by the City Council meeting today because this was the day they were going to decide whether or not they would consider that. Got some great footage here and some great news, not only for Jace and his memory, but Melanie Jefferson and the family. Here you go.
Resolution naming the baseball complex located at Heritage Park, 100 Park Avenue as the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex, as recommended by the Parks Board upon a request from the Belton Youth Baseball Association. Ms. Smith.
Thank you. So the Belton Youth Baseball Association, they're a great recreational youth baseball program that provides opportunities for 750 kids in the spring and the fall. They currently utilize 5 fields at Heritage Park and 1 at JC Field. All the fields are currently named, however the complex, the baseball complex, is currently unnamed. So we received a request to rename the facility in Jace Jefferson's honor, and that was unanimously recommended for approval at the December 5th Parks Board meeting. They submitted the application to us in early February, and we completed all the requirements in the street renaming and facility naming requirements. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got that a little out of order. We received the request on February 2nd. I don't know how the Parks Board would have approved it before that. And then they recommended approval at their March 3rd meeting. So we completed all the requirements in the street renaming and facility naming policy by listing this on the website 10 days prior to the council meeting. And now Matt Bates is going to come up and talk to you a little bit more about the request.
Absolutely. Mayor, Council, thank you very much. Would be amiss if I didn't quite have a chance to introduce a couple of special people that we have here in the audience. We do have Melanie and Mecca Jefferson over there. They'll give us a little wave. We also have a strong contingent of family and Jace supporters there in the crowd, along with our Belton Youth Baseball President, Eric Johnson, who I'll bring up here in a little bit. I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a summary and kind of an idea to what this really entailed. The reason for changing it, obviously, Jace Jefferson was a long-time member of BYBA. This past fall, Jace lost his battle with cancer after a year-long struggle, and this was a way that BYBA wanted to bring back because of the amount of positivity and the impact that he made on not only his peers, his friends, but also a lot of the parents that he came in contact with. So that was the summary, that was the essence of what they proposed to us at the Parks Board at December 5th. When they presented their end-of-season report and also with the application. I'm just kind of giving you guys right now a location of Heritage Park, kind of what we're looking at there. All the fields are, like Aaron mentioned, currently named. Field 1 right here is Larry Griffith. Field 2 is William Lester. Field 3, Chuck Tatum. Number 4 over here is Jimmy Morton Field. And if you remember, the Clifton Peters Field that we did, Field 5. So that's the layout of the complex in general. For the summary of the request, I could have put something together that was a few bullets, but I don't think that quite hit the nail on the head as Eric Johnson's letter that he wrote on behalf of BYBA to it. So it's in your attachments, it's on page, it's the attachment number 2, but I'll just take a chance, if you wouldn't mind, just to read that request, and we'll kind of go from there. To whom it may concern, Jace Jefferson was born July 22nd, 2004, and was a native Beltonian his entire life. Jace was a young man who had an overlapping influence on us all. Although his life was cut short due to cancer, we know that he has forever changed ours. Baseball is a sport of relationships that brings people together from all different backgrounds because of their love for the game. Being a leader is about connecting with people. This was something Jace knew all too well. He used his love for baseball and the Belton Youth Baseball Association as a way to connect across our community. He was a tremendous leader on and off the field and always chose to do what was right. Jace once asked his mom to pay for another kid's baseball registration because he knew that he couldn't afford it, but that he really wanted to play. This is the type of selfless spirit was a staple of who Jace was. Throughout his tough battle with cancer, he was strong and was an inspiration to his family. On November 11, 2016, Jace won his battle with cancer and is now free of the pain that he endured for so long. Many in the community came together in support of Jace and his family. They all knew the impact he had in their teams in those fields. Forbes magazine indicated that the best qualities of a successful leader are honesty, confidence, commitment, creativity, a positive attitude, and one who can inspire. Over the past 7 years, we have all been inspired by this young man who didn't take 1 second for granted, a boy that would start and end his day with a smile, one that loved to be on the field more than any other place in the world, and someone that touched an entire community. We feel that by naming the baseball fields at Heritage Park, Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex will be the best way to honor his spirit, leadership, and passion for baseball in a way that will inspire our community for many years to come. We thank you for considering our request and look forward to hearing from our community leaders. So that was kind of the request that came in, and instantly you get a feel right there for who Jace was, and outlines it brilliantly. One of the things I would want to touch on, Aaron mentioned we posted the facility naming online. Overwhelming response that we received from the community. We had 35 emails or so, countless phone calls. We started logging them towards the end. We had about 20 that we logged, probably a few that we missed there before. Lots of voicemails, and lots of activity on Facebook, a lot of people commenting. I was lucky enough to email exchange back and forth with Melanie. One of the few moments that I personally, professionally in this, has been quite touched by the community outreach for the young man. Quite clear that although I maybe didn't know Jace, what a tremendous impact that young man had. And so made this all the worthwhile as we began to take this and put the steps into motion with the facility naming request from Eric and then from Parks Board. Parks Board did approve it unanimously, 4-0, the night that it was voted on, and that's how it comes to you. I would want to just, for a moment, just touch on the signage aspect. This is obviously the main, what will come about of this request. The plan right now, if approved, myself and Eric and other board members from BYBA would work on a sign that would welcome people to the complex, as well as outline all the fields and all the field names. So located at each of the entrances of the parking lots that you would access that complex. So right as you're walking in, you can't miss it. Either way you're coming in, it's going to welcome you to the complex, to Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex, and also outline the names of those fields that bear those names. And we would kind of work on that and get those installed as quickly as I can. BYBA also plans to purchase a plaque with some of inspirational items there from Jace that he can put there on the concession stand that folks that want to know a little bit more about that young man can kind of get to learn. Before I really touch on the recommendation, I would like at this time to bring up Eric Johnson, the president of BYBA, let him share maybe a few words, and me and him can be here for any questions that you have. Eric, if you'll come up.
Evening. All I'd like to share is that you've heard a lot of stuff up to now, and you obviously have the letter in front of you. But to sum that up, you know, the way Jace, Christ-like ability to impact the community in our association is the reason why not just myself, I'm the one standing here, but the family of BYBA, the board of directors, 13 members of the board of directors of BYBA felt that this was an impactful way to honor Jace, honor his family, and then continue to impact the community with his story for years to come. And so that's basically what I have.
So with that, we would recommend from staff and from Parks Board that we would recommend the naming of the baseball complex located at Heritage Park to be named Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex. Happy for any questions that you guys may have.
Questions or comments?
So I'll make a comment in the motion. So I guess I'll start with the motion. I'd move that we go forward with the naming of the complex to Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex as presented.
And I wholeheartedly second that motion, recommending unanimous consent.
So the comment I would say is I'm sad that we're having to honor a young man in this way. And we feel for you guys that have gone through this, and it's, this life is a temporal thing. And as we pass through, we make connections, and this is a great way to honor that. I know my wife, as she grew up, went to school, elementary school, all the way through junior high with the Wilson Kersey, and now it's Wilson Kersey Field. And he had a heart problem, and he passed away at school. And so, anyway, so they honored him in that way. So I think it's a great way to bring awareness of what happened, as well as honor the individual. I will say, we do eventually run out of places to name, and so I think it's really hard. I'm a big football fan, and if they retire enough numbers on my favorite football team, nobody has a number, and so it's a place of honor to have something named. But it does make it much more difficult for us as we go forward to find a place to name for the next individual. So, but again, we're sorry that you guys have gone through that, and we're glad to honor him in this way.
Yes, and I will state that I didn't know Jace, but I know several of members of the family. And to hear the impact that he made on individuals says a lot about him. And I know y'all are very proud of that. And I'm happy to know that some of his inspiration will be at the ballpark as well. So that'll be good. He'll continue to touch lives on earth because he's busy already, I'm sure of that. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other further comments? If not, we'll, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your son and grandson
Thank you.
with us.
Thank you very much.